Of course, you're going to love the sport. For me, the sport was more than just netball. It was my friends, it was my family. I felt so supported, so cared for. And I realized that there's a lot of pressure on myself. Like, I felt like my value was based off my performance. So if I didn't give out a good performance, then I was like, oh, I'm just a bad player. I'm just not good enough.
Welcome back to Dive Beyond Sport, the podcast where performance meets humanity. Today's guest, Funmi Fadoju. Welcome.
Hi, nice to meet you guys. Can't wait.
Funmi, it's good to have you on. It's good to talk to you. I'm interested to hear so much more about your story based on my brief introduction in the world of netball, thanks to Kira. I've been learning about the sport and seeing you, among others, performing so well. It's super exciting. Obviously, you're a product of the London Pulse kind of pathway. You've been in there for many, many years. Tell us about the feelings and thoughts when you kind of took your team to the O2 Arena in London in front of like 10,000 people and won Pulse's first ever grand final, and also getting grand final player of the match. How did that feel for you?
Oh wow! I can actually remember the feeling. It was just a feeling of like amazement. Like, we actually made it this far. I've been at Pulse for about 6 years, and I still, like, it's been a long time. Actually, probably longer. I've been in their senior team for about 6 years, but I've been with them since I was like a 13-year-old girl, which is obviously like crazy when you think about it. My whole life I've basically been with Pulse, so to finally be able to win the Super League finals, it was a great feeling. I remember lifting up that trophy and being like, I want to do this again and again and again and again. And yeah, definitely, like, it's been a lot. I've spent literally most of my life in London Pulse, so they're a family to me. And I think to be able to finally like do something for them in a way, to kind of get over the line for them and to also like get that player of the match as well. It's like a wholesome moment, like a circle of life kind of moment as well. So yeah, I'm definitely proud of it.
What did it mean for you as well personally, obviously kind of getting into netball from a young age and being able to like reach that peak? And, you know, obviously not early in your career, you've been at Pulse for 6 years and part of the senior team, but still quite a young player. What did it mean for you personally and for your family?
It means a lot, I guess. I feel like I've had so many people support me along the way, like my friends, my family, my coaches. Literally, for coaches from when I was like 10 years old, they still supporting me to this day, and it means a lot to finally be able to be like, you know what, your support actually meant something. I didn't waste it, if that makes sense. I didn't waste this opportunity that you've given me, and I'm actually able to like pay forward what they did to me. So yeah, it means a lot. It definitely was like one of those moments where things start coming together. It's like, you know what, I am good enough to be in a team like this. I am good enough to finally like put out performances like this that can actually win finals. And I feel like it gave me a bit of a boost going forward, knowing that, you know what, I'm now someone who can walk around being like, I've won a grand final before, and that is like, it's an amazing achievement and something that I'm sure my whole team is proud of as well, and we still think about it to this day.
I mean, that's amazing. So you started with them at 13 years old. That's kind of crazy to me. And obviously already, like, with the way you're talking, I can feel the sense of how much that means to you personally. I mean, how important, before we even kind of get into like where it all started, and like I want to understand more about what it means to have started with them at 13 and like that pathway and stuff, but how important is it to have that sense, I think you described, of like family and real care like for the team? Like, how much does that increase, do you think, the performance of the team? Because I know, for example, in say football, one criticism could be that, you know, when people kind of move around a lot, they don't really care for the actual team. They're just maybe doing it for like the contract. But obviously, I already get a very different impression from you. So like, how important is that?
Yeah, I think it's just so important. I feel like with netball is kind of a community sport. Like, it's definitely a sport where you're very connected with your team, get to know them both on and off the court, and it gives you time to actually like develop relationships. And I feel like being in a team like London Pulse for so long, like the core part of the team has to stay together for years. Like, I know for a fact, I pretty much know what my teammates are going to do before they do it themselves. Like, there's something just over time you start to learn things about them. Like, we're friends both on and off the court. I have like my teammate Honey Matt behind me. We've built a partnership for like literally years, and now we're able to use that in England as well. So it's like they're not only my teammates, they're also my friends. My coach has supported me since I was a young girl. Like, she actually gave us all the opportunity to play in a Super League, despite being a very young team, a very inexperienced team. She's the one who actually helped build us to where we are today. So it's like, she saw something in us, she saw the potential, and that's like if you have someone like that behind you supporting you, then of course you're going to make it, of course you're going to be successful. So like, yeah, Like it's definitely a family sport. I feel like we all just, if you see our group chat, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we argue sometimes, but we love each other.
We won't ask to see any like screenshots or anything. Don't worry. Don't worry. But so then, I mean, you said that your coach gave you that opportunity from the beginning. But like, where did things all start? Obviously, I think from what I understand, initially you tried tennis, but that didn't go so well.
I won't lie, I tried a lot of sports. I feel like from a young age I've been quite sporty, very athletic. Literally, I was kind of like a child, you just kick into like any sport and just like, she'll be fine. Like I did like in primary school, every sport imaginable. In secondary school, the same. All the way probably to sixth form, and it's when I actually started to settle more into netball. I'm just like, you know what, this is the sport I want to do. So like, yeah, from a young age, I always thought I was going to be like an athlete, like do athletics, track and field. I did football, I did badminton, I did tennis, could probably just go on. When I grew up, obviously, I started to focus more on track and field and netball, and still a bit of badminton here and there. I still play, I won't lie, every couple of weeks or so. So I actually have something next week, but maybe not. I guess for me, I don't know, I guess it's when my PE teacher actually, so he saw me one time, it was during a PE session, he was just like, you're actually so sporty, can you just come by one day and just watch the older girls play netball? And literally went by after school just to watch them. And I was like, oh, this looks so cool. And then he gave me the goal attack bit, but I was like, okay, let me try it out. And I loved it. And literally the next day I told all my friends about it. I was like, oh my God, guys, you know about netball? It's so cool. And we all started to like watch the older girls play. And then like, slowly we started to join that team. And next thing you know, literally the next year, we are the core team. And it was literally every single person on my team were like my best friends. And we just played it all the way to year 6. And then he saw that we were so talented because we started winning a lot of competitions and stuff. And he actually joined us. He's actually introduced us to our first netball club, which is called New Campbell. So imagine you and your friends all play at school together, then you join the same club. Of course, you're going to love the sport. For me, the sport was more than just netball. It was actually just like, it was my friends, it was my family. It was like, I felt so supported, so cared upon. So yeah, of course I didn't stop. So he introduced me to my first club. Then he actually ended up coaching at a club to help me further, and me and my teammates, my schoolmates. And after that, I just never stopped, I guess. I just kept training, started to trial for regionals, for counties, and then slowly I went up the pathway. So yeah.
I think that's a really interesting point in terms of like trying a number of different sports, and you slowly just merge into one sport, and you take all the things that you've learned from all the other sports, and it's something that we've spoken about a little bit before. I wonder how much all the other sports kind of helped you become a great netball player. Obviously, you were very sporty, very athletic as a kid, so it was probably inevitable that you would find yourself in some sport at a high performance level. But what do you feel like kind of gave you the best attributes to allow you to become such an amazing netball player, and how obviously the decision would have been based on like the progress in it and eventually just the demand, but how did you essentially decide to stick to netball and not commit to another sport that you actually really loved and enjoyed? Was it just the love, or was it the talent?
I think for me, so growing up, I was very competitive. So I was like, I always wanted to be the best at everything that I did. I won't lie, I got a little bit serious at one point. I was kind of kid to go to cross country, no matter how tired I am or how exhausted. I tell myself I can't stop now. Like I love the feeling of actually just winning, I guess. And I feel like, but as in an individual sport, like it gets a little bit. I guess sometimes it gets a bit too serious. You get a little bit too. So like you start to center your whole life around winning. After a while, and I realized that there's a lot of pressure on myself. Like I felt like my value was like basically based off my performance. So if I didn't win, if I didn't give out a good performance, then I was like, oh, I'm just a bad player. I'm just not good enough. And I feel like being in netball, kind of it's hard. You can't blame it all on yourself in netball in a way, and you have that support around you. Like everyone's coming together. Like no matter what happens, you're there to support each other. Whereas in the individual sports that I did, I couldn't do that. Like it was literally like if I had a bad day, there's no one else I can blame but myself. And so I think that's kind of what brought me to netball, the kind of the fun side of it. So I'm not gonna lie, I think what also convinced me was actually my PE teacher. All my PE teachers growing up, I feel like they were the ones who basically said, you know what, like when you're in individual sports, you're quite quiet, you're quite shy, you're very introverted, but you're like also like very competitive. But I feel like when you're playing netball, you're a lot more open, a lot more confident, a lot more free. And I feel like I started to see stuff like that in myself, which I actually wanted to see. And I feel like over time, yeah, I just loved it. So I just said, you know what, netball's the one I want to do. It's the one where I can actually travel the most, make more friends, be more open, be myself. So,
That's such an interesting point because for me, like being an individual athlete, I love the fact that, my performance was all on me. Whether I did well or did badly, it was on me, and I can make that change, make that fix going forward. But, there was definitely times where I wouldn't be doing it so well and I'd be struggling and I'd get very introverted, very quiet, and just like have to fix myself first and then I'd be okay. Obviously, there's a team aspect of it anyway, but it's interesting that you kind of was able to identify that actually being a part of a team for you brought the best out of you as a person. I always felt like I struggled in a team sport, but it's really cool that you found that as a reason that can, help you flourish because you had other people to bounce off, I guess, other people to lean on, other people to support you when you weren't quite feeling good, but then other people to drag up when you needed to do so.
definitely, yeah. I feel like that's kind of what pushed me on. And it's like, again, like you felt like, I get what you're saying. Obviously, like you have to rely on yourself in individual sports. When it comes to a team sport, it's kind of like you're not by yourself. It's a passion that you get to like feed off any other people's energy and they can feed off yours. I feel like I just love that. Like everyone gets so hyped up. You're still competitive, so you can still be like, oh, I need to perform more. I need to do this. I need to do that. But at the same time, you know that you can actually, like if you do that, it will actually give you energy to your teammates as well to also do that. And I think you can almost push each other up in a way. And I feel like that's the way I get my best performance, by not only like doing my own performing in a way that I'm proud of, but also helping my teammates to do the same thing, and they'll do the same to me, vice versa.
I mean, that makes so much sense. And what you were describing before is exactly the problem that I faced throughout my career, being so caught up in me and my performance. And diving is kind of, it's a crazy sport. Like so many things can happen and so many things can go wrong. So I felt like most of the time I was like, occasionally there was like winning and really like good stuff. But most of the time it was like, I'm not doing well enough. Yeah. And so I just I was so tough on myself for that. And I remember specifically at times wishing that I'd been in a team. And obviously in diving we have synchro, kind of like tandem diving, right? So you're kind of in a miniature team there. And I preferred that because having to show up to dive alongside someone else and know that someone else was also relying on me meant I feel like it made me more stable. It like took me out of my head, and like
that's it.
And I think I can really imagine why you enjoyed that. And I just love that you've had a PE teacher.
I know, they mean a lot. They do a lot for you. You'd be surprised. Like if it wasn't for my PE teachers, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I'd probably be doing something different, or maybe I'd focus more on my education. I'm joking. I'd definitely be doing something different. I feel like it was their support that kind of like pushed me over the edge a little bit to get to where I am today. So yeah, I'm definitely grateful. So yeah, thank you, Eastbury, Montego, all of you. Thank you to all my PE teachers and all my coaches.
Shout out to all of them. You joke about your education, but Kira tells me that you're super smart as well. You studied biomedical sciences at university, right? So you've obviously done well in that respect. You're of Nigerian heritage, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so,
yes, I am.
I mean, stereotypically, there's a thing with African parents where they're like, okay, you must study, you must become a doctor, you must become, I don't know, a lawyer, an accountant, like, you must have a very good job.
Engineer.
So, yeah,
education
exactly.
above all, basically.
I presume for you, at some point in your kind of early teens, there was a bit of a balance between sport and education, and obviously the way you talk, it was like sport is number one. Sport is the only thing that you really cared about, I imagine. But at the same time, I presume you had this demand from parents to study hard and do well on that side of things. How did you manage that balance, and how did you decide to actually go to university while still pursuing netball? Because it's hard to do both.
I won't lie, it is hard. I won't lie. It's difficult. I feel like it definitely tested me in ways I didn't expect. I feel like it's about discipline. I feel like that's what netball has given me. Like I'm sure you guys understand, like being a part of a sport, being an athlete, you have to be very resilient. You have to be very dedicated to balancing both parts of your life. And I feel like over time, I did find a schedule that worked for me. Definitely, my parents are, and being from a Nigerian heritage, they're very education first. You have to be this, you have to be that. Greatness above all, success, success, success. Which I love. You know what? It kind of gives us a comparative edge. I don't like, doesn't it? I feel like
Oh,
I
for sure,
love
for
being
sure.
Nigerian. Yeah. And they were very supportive for me, truthfully. Like, my mom was just like, I think for her, she just loved the idea of being able to just travel all over the place and like support her daughter, as well as trying to, make sure I get back home in time to study, study, study. Whereas my dad was probably the one who was a little bit like, well, your education is more important. Like, every day reminding me, like, I know you love netball, I won't stop you from playing netball, but remind yourself to do your homework the next day. And so I feel like having them behind me kind of did help me balance both as well, because they'll shoot on my case all the time, truthfully. So yeah, you find a balance over time, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like athletes find it easier to balance stuff in terms of the fact that we have no choice but to do it anyway. Like, we have to focus on our time management. We don't have enough energy to basically not plan our time out. So actually, like, we're resilient, we're hardworking, and I feel like we're competitive in a way that we want to succeed in both worlds.
100%. And, it's something that I completely agree with. And I felt as well, like the balance of school and diving really helped me in many ways, because I had to get certain things done. Like, I wanted to get my work done before I go away for a trip, so I can actually enjoy myself on the trip,
Exactly.
rather than like leaving it until the very last minute. But, kind of what you say about your parents actually supporting you and allowing you to find that balance is amazing, because I think there's not many that can see both sides and the benefits of both sides. I was very fortunate that my parents did that for me as well. But one thing that they always told me is that because I was black in this country, you have to work,
Yeah.
2 times as hard as everyone else just to make
Yeah.
a reasonable level. And that gave me, even though it's hard to hear, it gave me a lot of determination to make sure that I achieved what I kind of set out to achieve, and make the most of the opportunities that I had. And I think that's generally one thing that pushed me on to achieve what I've done today. And I can imagine it's probably similar for you.
No, it is. I feel like I feel like having them, and literally having my full family behind me supporting me, it's giving me like I can't fail. It's giving me a sense of like, I know that I have to succeed, and I know that I have everything that's needed to succeed as well. Like, I have the support, I have the people who want to help me and push me along, and I have the determination from my sport as well. So I know that, truthfully, if I did anything but succeed, then I wouldn't be happy. It's not something I want for myself. And I think over time, kind of figure out what kind of person you want to be as you grow up. And if my parents backing me up, and you're like, I have no reason to, I can't say it that way, but I feel like I had no reason to not succeed, because I have, like, no matter, even if I fall, I know they're behind me to back me up. I know they're gonna pick me up again. So it's like, what?
It's almost like a safety net, isn't it? Like, you
It's
can
safety, yeah,
take that
exactly.
opportunity, because if it goes wrong, hopefully not, but there's a
Hopefully
fallback,
not.
and there's something to save you, and then you can try again.
Yeah. That's literally what pushed me on, I guess. I feel like knowing that I have, like what you said, like safety net, no matter what happens, that they're still gonna love me, they're still gonna support me, they're still going to push me on. It's like, okay, you know what? Let me just go out there and see what I can do. Let me just go, like, give my full attention to one thing, and then push on and see where I get. So yeah, it's been nice.
But that's all. I mean, you talked about like everything you need to succeed. What
Yeah.
what does that consist of? What is everything you need to be successful?
So I feel like, for me, I guess again it's going back to like community and that support system. So I know that I have my coaches behind me, I have my family behind me, I have my friends, I have my teammates. Like, I had so many different people that I can rely on for different things, that I knew that no matter what my struggles were, what obstacles I had, I knew I had someone who could help me with that. And also myself, like, I know that I'm someone who obviously is very competitive, who wants to succeed in life. So obviously I know that I'm going to push myself, and if I need help, I have them to help me as well. So it's like, I guess in a way that no matter, I don't know. For me, I just feel like I just
no
want to
option.
push on. No option, literally.
That's what I feel, actually. That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's like an element of a belief, faith, almost
Yeah, faith. Yeah.
in the inevitability of it and in yourself. Wow, that's super powerful. But with what Yona was saying about like balancing, say, education and sport and how that's difficult, I mean, I know, for example, in netball, obviously, because I mean, it's trying to professionalize more, right? And
Yeah.
but I know that at the minute, a lot of players, even in the top league, still have full-time jobs, right?
They do. Yeah.
Which, that I mean, so again, like that, it's like throughout the whole thing, not just in school, but people are still having to completely balance full-time work and
Yeah. I feel like netball as a whole, we're not where we want to be yet. Like we obviously we're on a journey, let's say that. Like we know that last year we started a professionalism in the league, and it's definitely been a step up, but definitely not where we want to be. Like we're nowhere near where SSN is yet, and it's that something that we want to improve. I feel like slowly we are gaining more funding, we're gaining more resources in order to push on athletes, in order to give them the confidence to just focus on their performance and get into where they need to be, instead of having to focus on like how to make more money or how to balance both jobs. But at the end of the day, truthfully, in netball, like a lot of my like teammates didn't have the salaries aren't enough for them to survive off, especially if you're living in London, which is very expensive. So you're gonna have to balance that with other things, and that's why education is so important as well, because you kind of need both in order to support you in the future. So like when I retire, I'm gonna be someone who doesn't just like, what am I gonna do now? I have something else that can push me on. Like I think as you grow up, you kind of realize that you can't have all your value on one thing. Like my value can't be in being a netballer. It has to be in I have to kind of build myself up from now in order to have not a safety net, but to also just build myself up now for the future, I guess. So that when I leave netball, I'm just like, oh, I'm not going to be lost and I'm not going to be confused about who I am. I'm going to be like, I know exactly who I am. I am someone who's done this, I have this. So yeah.
That's super important. And that's everything that we talk about on this podcast. It's all about kind of that identity outside of sport is something that I worked really hard to build for myself, so that when I decided to retire from diving, I could make the decision that I actually wanted to stay in the sport and contribute to the sport as a coach, rather than just doing it because it was the only option. For me, that was extremely important. And it's great to have the awareness of that already. I'm interested in the fact that in your awareness of the league as a whole, because obviously you're one of the standout players from the league, there's no doubting about that. How much do you feel like you can contribute to the progression of the NSL to the level of the SSN, as you said? Like you personally, in terms of the attention that I presume you now get based on your status and the performances you put out kind of week in, week out during the season, is that something that you have an awareness of, a responsibility to be that leader for the league as a whole?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like as athletes, that it's kind of our role to also help push on our sport in a way, in order to progress it further. I feel like we have a status, we have a platform that we can actually use to get more fans in, to get more eyes in, to get more investment into the sport, to get more funding, in order to be like, you know what, hey brands, like here we are, like we are netballers, like we are one of the most played female sport in the UK. So of course we should be able to like to get in touch with the younger generation and really show them like this is actually a future you can go down. Like I want young girls to actually know that this is actually a possibility for them. Like it's not just a dream, it's actually a reality that you can get to where I am today, and that when they do get there, that is better than where I am right now, or where the sport is right now. So it's like we definitely have a responsibility there. It is hard. I feel like we've been really focusing on trying to get athletes out of their like comfort, that little comfort bubble and that little shells, and be like, you know what, you have to be more vulnerable. You have to show yourself out. You have to show yourself more on social media to get more eyes on the sport in order to kind of build the sport as a whole. And I feel like my way of contributing to like the pathways and stuff is like I'm working with the London Post charity, because I feel like, you know what, I need to actually see what's actually happening in the lower age groups, lower pathways, to see like what can I do. Obviously I don't have all the answers yet, but I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to give back to my community, because I'm just like, if it wasn't for my community that helped me to get to where I am today, I wouldn't be here. So like, let's see what I can do as well.
100%. So what do you see from your perspective when you go into the London Pulse charity and help out at the grassroots level? What's the picture looking like from your perspective?
I think London Pulse does actually a really good job at this, I won't lie. That we actually do connect a lot with different schools. With we're hosting a tournament soon. We're hosting some workshops in order to get like young kids, get them out of school, get them fit, get them active, teach them more about netball, to give them some like personal coaching from like some NSL players as well, and also teach them more about like what we've learned along the way, like lifestyle, confidence, nutrition, like teach them more about that stuff. I feel for me, that's where I'm going with it. I've seen that there's definitely a lot more work we need to do. We need more coaches, we need more umpires, we need a lot more funding through pathways. I feel like it is quite expensive as well. So that's why we have like playing netball. I'm not sure if anyone's told you, it's actually a really expensive sport, but there are now funds that are going into that you can actually like. I feel like not enough people know about that. There are funds that you can use in order to actually get into like the top teams, get into NSL. Like when I was in under 17s, I remember there was under 17s and 19s, there was a Amanda Newton fund at London Force, but we've now changed that. But I'm sure that other clubs will hopefully pick this up a bit and be like, you know what, let's actually help out and get some like the local talent in that would it be able to afford being in the sport, because it is sadly really expensive, especially if your parents are working. Like travel is expensive, the kit is expensive, joining the team is really expensive. Like if people have to actually consider that as well, when it's like I feel like there used to be a lot more work done in those areas, and sadly it's not all on my shoulder, but yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking about it, so hopefully there's some improvement in there soon.
Wow, that's tough. Yeah, I mean, I have to say that's an element I'd not really considered. I mean, of course, the travel. I mean, you're going to play all the games.
So much traveling. Yeah.
And you know that costs real money. Like,
it costs. Yeah, it's expensive.
When you say cost money to join
people on the road, sorry, as well.
Yeah.
Like just time with people on the road, driving you everywhere, parents.
Exactly.
When you say
hours back and forth.
Sorry,
go on.
When you say to join, it costs to like join the club. What did you mean? What do you mean by that?
So in order, like in netball, in order to actually join, let's say, an NSL team, like in the under 17s or 19s, you have to pay towards that. So it's not like you only start getting paid when you get to the senior level, and it's actually really expensive. Like I'm not sure what the current prices are, but all I know is that back in my time, I'm sure it's much worse now, but back in my time I was like, oh, this is a lot of money, but it pays for the kit, it pays for the training calls, it pays for the coaches, it pays for the umpires, and sadly they need to get paid in order to actually contribute. So like it makes sense, but at the same time it is quite hard for young girls, let's say young girls or boys, to go to their parents and be like, can you pay this much in order for me to play netball every single week? Like we need to see a reason behind that, and I feel like we need to definitely find a way to kind of lower the gap a little bit. For some people it might not be a lot, for other people it might just be like, wow, this is a lot of money. And also obviously your parents or your family members have to have a lot of time for travel. Like we train about 2 to 3 times a week. That's not even including gym sessions, that's just like proper training sessions, and it's like sometimes that could be 2 hours there and back. Like I remember my first year at Pulse, if Sam Bird might say something about this, but I used to be like late to local sessions because it was so far. If I miss one train, that's literally like me done. Half an hour late, I'm so sorry guys. And it's like, that's how you kind of have to build a schedule for that. So imagine if you're a young girl, you're like, I need to get here by like, let's say 3 p.m. and I have no way to get there. It's just a lot of hard work. I remember my sister used to take me sometimes when my parents were busy. So it's like, it's a lot of sacrifice from people around you and yourself. So yeah, that's one thing we need to improve on.
Listen, we won't clip that bit up and put it on social media. So if Sam Bird actually listens to the depths of this podcast and hears that, then then I'm happy. Listen, I'm happy because Sam Bird's a legend in the netball world, right? So if she's listened to our podcast all the way through to that point, then I'm happy. So I'm sorry about that.
Sorry, Sam. No, it's all good. She understands it. My first year, I won't lie, I was a little bit like, oh, this is a lot. I think the jump from like under 21s to like senior level was big for me, and I was like, I realized how serious it was, how like, I don't know, I had the support around me, but at the same time I realized, okay, I'm gonna have to sacrifice more of my time. I have to plan days ahead. I need to plan my lunches, my dinners, I need to plan when I'm going to my work on the train. So literally I'll be like on the way to Potter's Bar, like it's like an hour and a half train, and I'm just like doing work on like, it's stuff like that you have to think about. So yeah, but when you get to that level, you start thinking like, it's normal.
And so what have been some of the big challenges during your career? Obviously, you know, we at the minute, like we've kind of got this overview of, you know, you find netball, you love it, these amazing PE teachers, you ride the pathway.
Unbelievable all of a sudden.
Yeah, and now you're carrying the weight of English netball on your shoulders, but you know, happily. Like, well,
precious.
Yeah, what have been some of the big, you know, because every athlete's career this happens, what have been some of the big stumbling blocks and things you've had to overcome?
Oh, big stuff. I think for me, it's injuries as well. Like I feel like that's always like a thought in my head. Like if I'm injured, what's going to happen? Like I'm going like I tell myself constantly, I can't get injured. I can't be out. Then there's always something big coming up. I feel like over time I kind of realized that no no matter what happens, it kind of is what it is. You just have to just keep going on, and like whatever happens will be for the best, I guess. It's like having that faith in yourself that no matter, like, you can get through any obstacle. And I think also it's like I kind of had I think a fast like rise suddenly. I went from just being like a little unknown netballer to like being like, whoa, who is she? And I think that happened after my first Australian series. So we went up to Australia, and I remember my first match. It was half time. I think we were down by like 2 or 3 goals, and they put me on court, and I was just like, what? And I got put on court as a goalkeeper. I'm a royal bench. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, this is actually it. And I remember just being terrified at that moment. Was like, if I play badly, what's going to happen? But I remembered I have nothing to lose. Like, I'm even happy to just be on court, so let me just take the opportunity and see what happens. So the first few minutes, I spent literally worrying. And you can see the coaches on the side. I feel like they were about to sub me up. And I was like, you know what? I was like, that doesn't matter anymore. Let's focus on your performance. It's like, you know what, you're here for a reason. So let's just show everyone what you can do. And I remember like, I went out for like a fly and an intercept, and then I just started getting more confident, and I was having more and more fun on court. And I realized, you know what, this is amazing. And I think after that series, I came home being like, everyone knows me now. I've got like a lot of followers. Suddenly I was like, okay, and I can't stop now. Like this now I need to be, for a while I thought I had to be perfect for every single match after that. Because once you once you have a really good game, you're like, how can I match that performance again and again and again? And it gets into this competitive like cycle of like, I need to play better, I need to be better, I need to be more successful, I need to help my team out in this. And it kind of did, it was a lot of pressure at that time. I enjoyed it. I won't lie, I did enjoy the pressure of having to like kind of like outperform yourself week in, week out. But after a while, when let's say you did have a bad match, which I did, I'm just like, oh, what? Like everyone expected me to be this perfect athlete, but I'm not, and I just proved that to them. And it's like, I feel like that's really hard at that stage. I remember the World Cup finals when we lost by I think like 20 goals. It was painful for me. I pretty much like zoned out after that. I remember just seeing like the whistle go off, and I was just like, we've lost that game, and I didn't play great. I thought like that was one of my worst matches in my life, and I was like, I remember they wanted me to do an interview as well, and I literally didn't even know where I was. I was literally out of it, and I had another teammate direct me towards the interviewer. No idea what I said to this day. Actually, I haven't watched that match back since that day. So, but I feel like this is the big like, for me that was really hard because I realized that like netball, like even when you lose or when you have a sense of like failure, it's like it's not the end of the world. I had to bounce back quite quickly because we had more series coming up actually. It's hard to explain, but I feel like after that series I realized that, you know what, it's a bad match and it doesn't define me. I'm still a good player, like it's not the end of the world. And I had to quickly come to mental terms that, you know, life goes on. No one's going to be thinking about this match for the rest of your life with me. Like you can actually like, there's always something else that's going to happen. You can go back to being like really good, but it took some time. I won't lie, it did take some time. To this day I still have flashbacks from that match, but
I can imagine. Did you work with anyone to figure that out and help yourself bounce back, or was that just yourself just kind of, okay, I know I got it, I know what to do, this is the mental process I've got to go on, or did you have any direct support?
So I actually spoke to my teammates. I feel like for a while I don't know why, I blamed myself for that match, and I was like, that's all my fault. I wasn't who they wanted me to be. I wasn't who they expected me to be. And I realized, I talked to my teammates, they're like, no, they were thinking the exact same thing I was, so we all blamed ourselves. And I was like, oh wait, so it's all our faults, or is it none of our faults? Like you're like, it feels so nice to know that everyone is kind of in the same place that you are and all thinking the same thing. It's like, it kind of takes off the weight a little bit, that it's not just you. You don't have to go down this spiral of guilt. It's almost like we're all just human at the end of the day, and that we're all in the same situation, so we can actually like lean on each other a little bit. And I remember after a couple of weeks, like we all got together again and just talking about it, and we're like, you know what, we just like laughing about it, like, you know what, we weren't great, but it's good, like we're gonna get back there, like we're going to improve. It's not the end of the world, like we can keep pushing on. And I feel like having the teammates there who obviously were on court with you, who are experiencing the same thing, definitely helped. Afterwards, we did have some lifestyle support as well, some psych coach. So we had psych as a team and as individuals to kind of help us get through these mental barriers that we've come across. So they definitely helped. I still work with them today. I think we all, like, right now in England, we have someone called Claire who we all love. She is amazing, and she kind of gets you out of like getting into your head, which I used to do when I was like doing like cross country or something like that. So like, it's definitely like we have support around us now, which is really good. So I feel like netball's come a long way in order to get that. But yeah. And my family, of course, and my friends who make me laugh and remind me that I am loved still. So yeah.
Aw. It always comes back like to the community, like you said. That's so nice for me. In terms of the injuries, I mean, can you talk us through like what you've had to face in terms of that and what happened?
So it was actually just before, when was it? It wasn't too long. It was like a couple of years, like 2, 3 years ago. I had something called a stress injury, which is basically when I guess I was just overworking a lot. Like I was doing more work than I ever did before. I was basically pushed up into the senior England squad while I was still being in like their future squad. So I was playing multiple. Had a lot more training sessions than I was used to. Like I said, it was a fast rise for me in terms of getting to that senior level. And I thought I was fine. I guess I was like excited to be there, excited to play with all the older girls, play with all the seniors. But I didn't realize the toll it was having on my body from having to jump to that level quickly. And so over time, I started to experience like a really painful, like sharp pain in my leg, and I didn't know what that was. And after a few scans, realized that it was a stress injury, and apparently I had a stress fracture on the other leg, which I didn't know about, which I don't know how that's possible, but that's a story for another day. And I remember that during when I got told I had a stress injury, it was actually for a series. So just before England versus Jamaica series, and I was really excited because it was my first time. It would have actually been my debut for England. Actually, now that I think back to it, it would have been my first debut for England senior team, but I got brought back because I had an injury, and they told me that I have to now leave the girls. And so that was, I literally spent the next few days crying. I was like, it's my first opportunity to get there, but sadly it wasn't meant to be. And I feel like that's the best thing that happened to me, truthfully, now that I'm thinking back to it. I wasn't ready. I thought I was, but obviously I wasn't. My body was telling me that in its own way. And yeah, I guess after that, I just had time to really focus on the other parts of my life. I was out for quite a while. I can't remember how long it was, but it felt like the longest time possible. Focused a lot on friends, family, finding again, I guess loving the sport again in a way. And then obviously I started building back into it. I had the boot on for a long time as well, so I was always like stumbling everywhere. And got back in with the England girls, and then I was still able to make my debut, but the difference was that I was able to do it with my best friends. So it's my teammates that I've been with for at Nanopause for years. So I remember it was like me, Liv, Zawa everywhere, Ellie Batu at that point. And yeah, we all got to debut at the same time. So I was like, you know what, this actually feels a lot more better than if I was to debut with like none of them. So yeah, it worked out for the best.
Well, and isn't that the amazing thing with injury? How actually one of the positive things about it is it can make you stop taking the sport for granted. You know,
Exactly.
I think one thing that's really easy as athletes is like you get caught up in the stress, but actually a lot of it. Okay, maybe there's certainly in our sports there's not enough money and it is difficult, those sorts of things. But it's still an amazing lifestyle. Like what an honor and a privilege to be able to do the activity that you started doing in the first place just because you love it, and able to make a career out of that. Like how exciting that is. But it's often only when you have an injury and you have to take a step back that you're like, oh, that's why I love this. So that's something you felt.
Yeah. Definitely. I feel like I was able to take a step back and be like, oh, okay, bigger picture. This moment, it might suck, but at the end of the day, but there's going to be so many more opportunities to go out there and shine. So I was like, I had to remember that. And I feel like taking a step back, I actually got to focus on things that I neglected, like my strength and conditioning, like who I am in the gym. Or I guess the little parts of life definitely brought more consistency than ever before, trying to get back on court. Truthfully, I came back stronger and fitter and better. So I was like, that's just the truth. Sometimes when you get to have a step away from all the stress and all the having to be perfect day in, day out, you got to actually see you know what, these are little things that I can improve now, that when I get back on court, I'm going to be a better athlete and a better person. So yeah, I feel like definitely having that injury, it kind of gave me more perspective about where I was as an athlete, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, completely. And in terms of now, obviously, we've talked about what needs to happen with netball, like where you to make it bigger. I mean, where do you want to see netball in the future? You want to see it, like, for example, I know that's looking toward the Brisbane Olympics, for example. Is that something like you're kind of hoping for?
I was just about to say that. I was actually like, obviously, I think we all want to perform at the highest level there is, which is obviously the Olympics. Like, that would be a dream. I think I'd be like 32 at that age or something like that. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Like, if we can get netball to a stage where we can actually go and represent our country at the Olympics, that would be definitely like an amazing opportunity for ourselves, the young generation, and our country. Yeah, that's what we're all looking forward to, truthfully. And I'm hoping that I'm around for that.
For the people that don't know, what is the gap that is restricting netball to become an Olympic sport?
I think it's the fact that not all countries actually play it. Truthfully, like I know for a fact that Nigeria are trying to build it, but it is like a Nigerian netball team. Like a lot of this, like I'm not sure if the United States can play it, and it's like we need to actually. That's about awareness. That not a lot of people actually play netball, and if we can build those numbers, then slowly we'll be able to get there. Obviously, it's mostly a female sport as well. We have some male teams as well. We have England netball squad now. We have an Australian one, Jamaican one, New Zealand. But I feel like we still need. It's like we're not there yet, are we? And we lack funding, we lack investment, we lack awareness of the sport in general. And it's like obviously I'm just an athlete right now, so I don't know what the next steps are. But I feel like we have a long way to go still. But hopefully the Olympics might change that if we can get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll make a massive, massive impact. And it's great that
It
the
will.
Commonwealth Games, for example, got rescheduled so that you guys can be a part of that. Because I know that the Commonwealth is kind of the major alongside the World Cup for netball. So with this upcoming Games in Glasgow,
Yep.
first of all, what does success look like for you there? Although I feel like I know the answer for that. Um,
Yeah.
um, and you know, in terms of England as a team, where are you in your kind of journey towards kind of knocking Australia off their perch? I presume because Australia are the dominant
They are.
force.
I think for your first question, obviously we wanna get a medal. Let's be real. We want that gold medal. I think we all do. Everyone's hunting for it, and I feel like we have the opportunity to actually get it. I think we have the talent, we have the potential, we have the experience, and in a way, because of previous things like that have happened in England netball, we kind of are the underdogs. No one expects us to kind of win, but that kind of gives us like it takes off the pressure a little bit. Like now we know we can just go out there and just get a job done. That's it. And I'm really excited to know that other goals are like we're working day in day out to kind of figure out how we can get there. So yeah, that's what we want. We want to win, and I feel like that's what every athlete should say. And for your second question, would you mind repeating that actually? Sorry.
The second question was kind of like where is the team in terms of England at kind of on the journey? Because you know, again, from my limited perspective of netball, it's
Yeah.
been a constant like knocking on the door, getting close, and then maybe something happens and gets a bit further away. Kind of since that 2018 Commonwealth Games win, where are you kind of on that journey in terms of getting back to the best level? Like this is a great opportunity, as you say, to kind of go out there with no fear and you know just do what you need to do as underdogs. But you've got a World Cup coming up soon, and
Yeah.
you know obviously this is a great springboard potentially for that.
Yeah, I feel like Commonwealth Games would be actually a good opportunity for us to settle down in the fact. Like kind of like we have a new coach, we have some new players in the team, and truthfully, only three players in our team currently have been to Commonwealth Games before, whereas other teams will have like most of their squad have been before. So it's like we're quite new in a way. We're all a little bit. I wouldn't say inexperienced because we have experience different ways in terms of that. I've been to World Cup before. I know a lot of my other teammates have been. We have experience in terms of like in our roles, our positions that we've been playing for years, but maybe just not in major tournaments yet. So it'd be nice to see. It'd be nice to see what we can do in those moments. And yeah, I feel like I see us settling down in Commonwealth Games. Hopefully, you know, if it's God's will, winning it as well. And then I think really just building our identity again. I feel like that's where we're at currently in England netball. Just kind of figure out like who are we, what do we want to achieve. Like we're currently breaking it down. We're having a lot of like little sessions like who do you guys want to be remembered as? And I feel like that's really important because we didn't have that before. And I remember like 2 days ago we had shared a session like if you had to give netball England netball like your team one name, what would it be? Like to describe us. I was just like, that's a good question. I don't actually know. Like guys, what do you want people to see when they like? What do you want people to think when they see us? I was like, fierce, you know? And the words that came out were just amazing. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I want to be known as dogged and like passionate and fierce and like really like vibrant. And it's like, I think that we're just building towards something really great right now, but you just have to stay along for the journey, I guess.
And I'd love to ask you, as someone obviously who is, you know, right at the top of the game and at the top of a sport, and particularly a sport that is, as we said, like, you know, particularly dominant for women.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been a lot of development positively in women's sport in recent years, like a much bigger push. But I mean, from your perspective, where you're at, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that. In general, where do you feel like things are at for women's sport? Are we moving in the right direction? Like, what would you like to see more of, or?
Yeah, I feel like we're definitely moving in the right direction. Like we've seen football do it, we've seen rugby do it. Like they're like, I feel like after them winning like the World Cup and like just making so many amazing achievements, it's kind of pushing women's sport as a general. Like it's pushing like us as netball up as well in a way. So like we just have to keep supporting each other. I feel like it can't just be like every sport from themselves. Actually, we have to come together, realize we're all in this together. We're all trying to fight for equality, equal pay. We're trying to fight for more investment, more viewership as well. Like we want people to see us, because if they didn't see us, then they won't know anything about us, will they? And we won't be able to improve from there on. And it's like we want to put ourselves out there. I feel like we have more coverage now in netball than ever before. Like now, like in the NSL, every single game is now getting put on Sky Sports or BBC, or you can watch it on your TV or on like YouTube, and that's really important because you want more people to be able to be like, okay, I never knew about netball, but now I want to watch it. Like I feel like once people watch netball, they don't stop, do they? And it's like that's
That happened to me.
Yeah, that's Yona.
Yeah,
That happened to me.
you make fans like once you start, I actually really believe you can't stop, because it's just such an interesting sport. But sadly, you just need to get more people to actually see that, and that's kind of what's stopping us right now. Like sometimes I can be in an Uber ride and they'll be like, oh, you look athletic, what do you do? And I'll be like, netball. He's like, netball, is that like volleyball? Is that basket? I'm like arresting more people to know about netball. And it really, like, it's like, I don't know, I feel like a win, like us doing well in Commonwealth Games, the World Cup will really help that, and it will help push women's sports like up as in general. Like that's actually it, I think. Yeah, but we're definitely on a good path. I think we're getting like more sponsorships, more deals. Like I'm seeing some amazing like partnerships now between athletes, and like Sabrina and like the her new Sabrina ones like out, which I'm gonna get. So I'm just like, I want to see stuff like that. Like I feel like one thing that fans do is that they actually support athletes before they support the sport. So you like I wouldn't have watched a lot of WNBA if it wasn't for like Caitlin Clark, or if it wasn't for like Angel Reese, you know. So sometimes you need people like that who kind of get the sport, like get the fans a little bit interested in it, and get people into the sport. So I feel like if netball can do that, that would be great.
You need a Netflix documentary.
Basically, we need a Netflix
Definitely.
documentary. Yeah. I'm gonna actually. That's what we're advocating for here. We need to get ourselves out there, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, because it's perfect though, isn't it? Like I feel like they've it's just like, I don't know, the secret sauce now to sports success. It's just marketing genius. But it's true. Why? Because you know the athletes, you get into the story.
Exactly.
And I think it can work for.
You want to follow them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it can work for any sport. And like what you're also describing as, you know, how the community around it and how connected you guys are, you know, and I think I think also that's something that, you know, people also want to see, they want to feel, you know.
Yeah. I think they want to see us more as us, like we actually are humans, that we do a lot outside of sport as well. And if they can see that, then they'll be more interested in our lives, they'll be more interested in our sports. I mean, yeah, things will just get, you know, it gets things started a little bit. But yeah, that's definitely the first step.
That also just sparks within my mind where it makes it a little bit more difficult with the whole professionalization thing, because so many netballers currently have lots of amazing things that they do outside of the sport because they have to work, they have to study and do all this. But as professionalization becomes more important, then more and more people just become netballers without the things outside, which is, and I mean, it becomes a bit of a dangerous thing, because then sometimes it goes a bit too far the other way and people just put their entire identity within the sport, and then you actually lose that personality. There's a lot of really exciting people to watch in the game. You know, there's from years ago, I remember seeing Helen Housby celebrate and everything after the Commonwealth Games in 2018, and you know, you got people like yourself now, and so many more. And those personalities is what you want to see, but you don't want it to just be like netball. You want it to be diverse, because that's the reality of the world that we live in today. And yes, the footballers, the rugby players have had a lot of success, but they're very diverse people. And that is something that netball definitely doesn't want to lose at the same time.
Well, I feel like with professionalism, but I know that yes, we might not be if we're able to actually get to a stage where we don't have to rely on working part-time or having a whole another full-time job, then yes, we'll one be able to focus more on our performances on court and we can do better. But at the same time, we actually can show people like we have a lot of passion, like we have a lot of stuff we're doing on the outside. It doesn't have to be a full-time job. I feel like I get what you mean, but I still feel like we can show our like if we have more time to focus just on the netball, we can actually show our personalities outside the netball as well in a way. Like I'll have more time to focus on. I don't know. That's actually true. Like
your actual passions,
hobbies.
your hobbies. Like you'd have your space and the time to develop other things, which could show even more of your personality, for example, potentially.
Yeah, I think I do. There is give and take. So sometimes, like I know for a fact, like Amy Carter is in England, that she's a A&E doctor, and she's doing that with Ford. She's doing that literally that as a full-time athlete as well. Now she's a vice captain for the England squad going to Commonwealth games. So that's amazing. And I know like a lot of my other teammates have played taekwondo, they had other sports. They do a lot. There's so many different interesting things about them that you kind of want to know. But I feel like will that leave if we got more professional? That's a question. I'm not sure about that yet. But I doubt it. I feel like we're interesting people even despite all of that. We are interesting people, and I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's an interesting question. Definitely not a question to answer right now. But I am currently living with the professional netball player and medical student balance.
Yeah.
So I get to see it every single day, which is intense. But kind of speaking of all of that, you know, the end of your career is very far away. But I mean, we kind of spoke about it a little bit earlier in the podcast. But how much do you think about it? How do you plan to use the degree that you got? Do you plan to use it, or is it just a kind of box ticking exercise?
Tick. I'm joking. I don't know. I feel like, but obviously, I think about that a lot. I'm actually with a program. I actually get the name up. Don't know why it just slipped my mind. I'm with the Women's Sports Trust Unlocked program, where we actually work together to kind of decide what we want to do after netball. It's like not after netball, but after our sports, and like building a career outside of just sport, just outside of just being an athlete. And I feel like they've helped me a lot in terms of like asking me some of the harsh questions like what are you doing now in order to prepare yourself for after you retire? And I feel like it has got me thinking. I have asked myself a lot of questions. I feel like I'm still figuring out, truthfully. Like I'm 23 years old. I know I have a bit more time to figure that out. And I know a lot of my teammates right now currently are still on that journey. But at the end of the day, you don't always have to figure it out because things change. You never know where you might end up next week or even a month, year or 5 years from now. So I feel like for me, I'm just gonna keep thinking about it. I'm just gonna keep enjoying my life, trying to like get myself involved as much as possible. Who knows? I might be a broadcaster. I might be a netball coach. Who knows? I might even be an England coach in the future. You never know. But it's definitely something to think about, I think.
Well, and I heard a great quote just a couple of days ago, and I think it was from Steve Jobs actually, but it was something along the lines of how life only makes sense. You only connect the dots of life when you look backwards. Mm-hmm. You know, like you can't understand your path like when you're sort of going forward, but when you look back, you go, okay,
it makes sense now.
Yeah. Like I had to. So it's like, like you said, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what the future is, but I think if you're taking proactive. My stance now is, at least, if you're taking, proactive decisions, you've got some kind of rough idea of the direction you'd like to head, roughly, and you make proactive choices that, the path will, sort of reveal.
One thing I'm actually scared of is, being stagnant. So that's like you said, if you don't make proactive decisions or actions, then it'll be like 5 years later, what have I actually done in the last 5 years? And so I feel like all we can do now is actually just ask ourselves some deeper questions, like what do you actually want to do, what do you love, what do you actually enjoy, stuff like that, and then just taking active decisions every single day to get closer to them, to improve in little areas of your life. And I'm sure 5 years later you'll be like, okay, I've made some improvements, something I didn't expect or I didn't see myself doing, but it happens. So yeah, I'm definitely a live in a day kind of girl. Don't want to think too far ahead, but I am thinking about it. So yeah.
Nice, that's amazing. I think it's such a good message for young kids as well to to know that it's important to actually stay present, but spend a bit of time thinking about the development, the progress, and don't get too caught up on it, because you never know. Like, you can't predict these things.
You never know.
Just to wrap up this main episode, the question that we ask every guest is, if your career or life to this point was a movie, what would the title be?
Ooh, can I say chaos? No, I can't say that. What would my movie title be? What would it be? That's actually a good question. I feel like I had an answer, but I kind of forgot it now. Things change. I think my life story would be even better with. If that doesn't make sense, like. And back in the days, I used to have, after every single like essay we did, we used to have something called EBI, which is even better if. And I feel like, for me, I'm always thinking about like, what can I improve on? What can I do better in? And like, my life changed. Like, I don't think anyone actually understands how chaos my life is. Sometimes, like, I'm someone who's like very open-minded. I want to try new things, and I'm just like, what happens if I just try out this sport, or I try out this, or I learn a new language, or I learn a new instrument? Like, I'm a little bit. I'm a dreamer. Let me be real. I'm a dreamer. So like, I'm always thinking like, even better with,
Wow.
I like that a lot.
I think that would be my title name.
I like that a lot.
That's me.
That's real good.
EBI.
Oh man, that's really good. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I'm like, damn. We got a polymath right here as well, Yona. Damn.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Wow.
So what? Sorry, what did you say? You always put those as an acronym at the end of what was
So like, let's say I do an essay,
Yeah.
I'd get like an EBI, so even better if, and like that's just literally always right then. I feel like back in the day, like when I was younger, I'd always be like, wow, like there's always something you can improve in, and I feel like that's kind of stuck with me my whole life. I always just be like, how can I improve in this or that, or how can I move forward, like further ahead, or like literally that's why I'm kind of a dreamer. I'm always up in my head thinking about stuff like, what can I do now? Like, how can I like be the next,
Either that or your work
so
wasn't very good and the teacher was just being polite.
Yeah, that as well. Give or take. Yeah, that's actually so funny.
All right, well, Funmi, thank you so much. That was an amazing chat. I really appreciate
Thank you so much.
all your answers, and maybe the best title we've had so far. Love that.
Possibly.
And that was just off the button as well.
Very
Literally.
And so Funmi is going to be hanging around for our bonus section, One More Dive. So if you're not there yet, the link is in the show notes. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, then please like, subscribe, follow wherever you're listening and watching. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.